Hey folks, I'm totally not named Dan, and I've got a splitting headache today, but we're going to do this anyway because the show must go on, and I'm a little bit late on this Bannerada update. So, not as late as you might think, because UVS games themselves were also a little late on this one. And likewise, it's not quite what you might think, but we'll talk about that in just a second. First of all, here's my least qualified buddy to talk about it.
Hey, well, at least I'm here to help you talk about things.
Yeah,
Like I,
yeah, and it's not like anyone's really fully qualified to talk about this one, because, well, this character that I'd like to mention was only legal for about 2 weeks in the retro format over COVID. So,
yeah, I don't think I would have seen them. I don't even think I knew about the game's existence then, so.
I don't think anybody I played with was around for that era. Because, yeah, there was one. Technically, it wasn't even an official tournament. It was an officially backed tournament where this card was available as a prize.
Oh,
And
that's strange.
yeah. They didn't have any. Well, they had very few official tournaments during COVID because, well, how are they going to do it? Webcam really wasn't a thing back then, and anything else was legally dubious at best.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if big games like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic and stuff can't have regular tournaments, of course smaller ones like this couldn't.
Yeah. But what do you make of this character?
Just a quick read of them, they just seem busted.
Okay. Anything in particular stand out?
The response, just being able to draw one, discard one when you use an action.
Okay, so you're seeing the real thing. Because most people looked at this card and went, first form, look at the top four cards and put it back in any order, make all my checks correct, and go in for the kill on turn one. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's only powerful if those top four cards are things you want to see in that order. You could reveal 4 free checks and nothing would have changed.
If you reveal
It's,
4 3 checks, you go in with your foundations. Typically, you'd reveal 2 3, 2 5, and you'd stack them so that you'd play on the fives, draw the threes.
yeah, but you could
Which,
do a lot more with that response for sure to me.
ensuring that you can go in on turn one was kind of big. But no, it's not nearly as big as the response. The response encouraged ridiculous deck building. Just
Like
absolutely, completely, and utterly degenerate nonsense.
they're both strong effects, but when you sit down and think about it, the response definitely feels stronger.
So I want you to keep Princess and the Pea in mind as we go forward and talk about other things. But I also want you to keep in mind that this is a ban list specifically for retro, not for standard or any of the spotlight formats, which is interesting because last month it was entirely for spotlight in My Hero format, and there was no mention of retro whatsoever. There hasn't been any mention of retro for months.
Yeah, I honestly forgot that they were doing ban lists for them because
Yeah.
I saw one or two when I started back when there was only like what 3, 4 My Hero sets. The standing was a lot bigger there, but after like then, I don't think I saw any mention of retro on the ban list updates.
We had one a little while back, specifically to cover these two. We got Big Shot Judy and Big Shot Punch. Both are 2 difficulty 6 checks. One's a high block, one's a low block, both at a +1 modifier. And they have Enhanced Remove. This attack gets +3 or -3 speed on Judy, damage on Punch, and then you can add a copy of the other from your discard pile to your hand.
Yeah.
So it's any block you need on defense, other than a mid. And on offense, it's basically just mill yourself a bunch and then get +12, +12.
Yeah, that seems real strong. And if we go back to the Princess and the Pea, that would be manipulating your hand on top of doing those two. Because I assume they was legal at one point together.
Yeah. These were legal for a long time. It's only very recently that these got banned, like a couple months back or something. Shortly before the retro event that we had at Nationals, I think.
Yeah, but I can see them on paper. They are very strong.
Yeah, they carried decks that really shouldn't have been carried, like my Melee End deck.
I'm gonna say, hey, Big Shot Judy seems pretty nice in Tiger on order.
Yeah. They were not okay cards. And I mean, Cutest will go on for ages about how much he hated them, specifically because not only were they powerful, but that you had to make a check for every single one and then pass enhance, and your opponent would have to pass enhance back to you. And so it took just an annoying length of time to resolve playing 8 cards to get +12, +12.
Oh yeah, right. That would be annoying.
Yeah. And those were banned specifically because of their interaction with this My Hero card, Twisting Azure Inferno.
Yeah,
Twisting
it's such a good card.
Yeah, they were a problem for ages, but this was the card that pushed them over the edge because this was you get +2 damage whenever you play an action. So suddenly, instead of +12/+12, it's +12/+28.
Yeah, that's deadly.
Yeah, I mean, they were already fairly deadly, but that's just
Mhm.
ridiculous. And this also says if the damage is 7 or greater, you get +1 to your checks and your rival gets -1 to block. There was a deck that was just 56 actions and 4 Twisting Azure Inferno.
Yeah, I think I did see that at one point. I was like, gee, this is wild.
Yeah. And the way to win was just you aggressively mulliganed to Twisting Azure Inferno, played that, and then just played out the rest of your deck. Because unless you checked one of your other 3 Twisting Azure Infernos, what are they going to do? I mean, if you did, oh, look, it's a 4 diff. You've only got to commit 1 anyway. Commit your character. So yeah, it was a stupid deck.
Yeah, I can see why they got banned.
Apparently, it came second due to misplays or something like that. But it
Mm.
could very easily have won.
Yeah, I can see why that could easily win.
But by the looks of it, they think that Twisting Azure Inferno was going to stay a problem. Yeah, here we go. It has such an extensive amount of actions to choose from. More and more dangerous blends have been getting developed. These decks often don't allow for much meaningful interaction and are very capable of winning on turn 1, something we just don't want to be happening. Yeah. Yeah, so banning
Hmm.
Big Shot Punch and Judy did not solve the problem. Twisting Azure Inferno was an issue, still is an issue. It's gone now.
Yeah, it's one of those cards that if it was kept around, you would have to limit how powerful the actions can be because of this card in the retro format.
Oh, absolutely. But also, you can't really limit how powerful the actions can be because, well, there are so many that have been around for so long that you can't really take them back now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's better just to ban this than ban like 20 different broken actions because of this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that and even if the actions were fair, this encourages a Princess and the Pea style of deck.
Yeah, I think someone even tried this in just MHA as well and got decently close to like topping events with it.
I don't recall hearing anything about that, but at the same time, this card was still a powerhouse in MHA. People were still just stringing a bunch of them together, getting really good checks, ignoring progressive, doing silly things with them.
Yeah, because it had shared symbol of Tokoyami who liked
Yeah.
actions anyway.
Well, Tokoyami's action gives +1 speed and +1 damage. So combine that with the +2 from this, you're already at the 7 you need.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was so free for Tokoyami to get stupid plus checks out of this. So yeah, Twisting Azure Inferno was not okay. Then we have Shokiga Hosen. It's a weird card. It's a 3 difficulty attack, so you can play it turn 1 quite easily, which has multiple 2, which obviously you need momentum for. You're not going to get that on turn 1 normally. And then you can discard its multiple copies, because they're only going to do 1 damage anyway, because it's a 1 damage attack. Give this attack +3 speed and damage for each multiple copy discarded this way. So if you discard 2 multiple copies, that's a 9/7.
Which is very strong.
Yeah, but you've had to give up 2 momentum for that.
True.
It's not the end of the world, really. And then it's got Enhance 4+. If its attack is not blocked, which it won't be if it's a 9/7, your opponent loses 3 health.
Yeah, which is just basically 3 extra damage.
Yeah, so it's basically a 9/10. So yeah, niche card. It's only really played in Zolt from 7th Cross. Oh boy. One dot version of Zolt is you may discard cards from your deck in addition to momentum to pay the cost of multiple abilities. The damage of your multiple copies is changed to 1, and their damage cannot be modified by other card effects.
Yeah, but with this card, that doesn't matter because you're just getting rid of them anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So he just gets a free 10 damage on turn 1. And
Yeah,
no,
that
that's
is
all
not good.
statics as well, so it works even while he's committed.
Oh, yeah, right, they are.
So even going first, he gets to do that. Yeah, here we go. If he draws 2 copies, he can outright kill most 7-hand characters before the game even really begins. Yeah. Because going second, he can guarantee that. Going first, not quite, but pretty darn close. Personally, I'm not convinced that Zolt isn't the problem. But there are very few things that Zolt interacts with where he is the problem. So, yeah, I think banning Shokuga Hosen is alright. I think if Zolt goes at any point, we can have Shokuga Hosen back. Because Shokuga Hosen on its own is not a problem.
For sure.
It is just that interaction. Had a strong showing at NA Nationals Retro, okay. Because he didn't show up at all at UK Nationals Retro.
Oh, interesting.
UK Nationals Retro was dominated by an old standard build of Akuma.
Oh, Akuma.
Oh, there were some other really cool things that showed up. Like, I was very fond of the Taisei one, the multi-health bar Dullahan guy. He was really cool. He was horrible to face, but he was really cool.
Yeah.
I've always
Yeah.
wanted to see him do well, and I figured that Yu Yu Hakusho's inhuman speed was going to just make him unplayable. I was wrong.
Because if I ever try and get into retro, I probably will try and make Sheepman work in some kind of way.
Yeah, Sheepman's just funny, though.
Yeah, it's on brand for me. I've got to at least try it if I'm going to go into a format where Sheepman is legal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Shoki Gohosen. I don't think Shoki Gohosen needed to go necessarily, but half of the interaction needed to go, and Jasco don't tend to like banning characters without good reason.
Yeah, and because of how old it is, you can't exactly errata a character for retro.
Oh, you absolutely can errata a character for retro.
Oh, you can? Wait, they do that?
Although
Well, how
they
you
couldn't reprint it.
Right, yeah, for licensing reasons.
Actually, I'm not sure if they could or not, because it's 7th Cross. I don't even know who owns the license to 7th Cross anymore.
Yeah.
Because Level 99 Games did, because it was their creation. But their creation just disappeared off the face of their release schedule and has never been seen again.
Yeah, so it might be in one of those copyright limbos, so nobody knows who owns it to try and get permission to use it, so it just stays never used.
Oh, no, it shows up in random crossovers. And Re-Act is coming out very, very shortly and includes one of the characters as a Kickstarter reward from 7th Cross.
Interesting.
But then again, they have the same artist, so I wonder if it's just the artist has the rights to their work now, or what.
They first heard of 7th Cross through this game.
Yeah, I mean, most people did, as far as I can tell. Because it's not like Level 99 was ever releasing it. It was this and Exceed, mostly.
I've never even heard of that till now.
But 7th Cross in general is a property I like. The art's done by Wicked Alucard, who does some fantastic artwork. We've talked about him in previous videos. We'll probably continue to keep talking about him.
Yeah, the art I've seen is real nice for 7th Cross.
Yeah, and to bring it all back, I do like that his art's staying around in the form of Zolt, in addition to other characters. It's kind of a piece of history at this point, because UniVersus is, I mean, it's not the biggest showcase of 7th Cross. There are twice as many 7th Cross characters in Exceed, but at the same time, Exceed is kind of crap. It's probably the best showcase we've got, and so losing a character from that would be quite disappointing.
Yeah, if it comes in between those two, it would definitely be ban the niche card that they're abusing, then get rid of Zolt themselves.
Yeah, I mean, if neither of them are causing any problems elsewhere, then yes. Then finally, we have Caden's Blindfold. This has form destroy this asset, add one powerful attack from your card pool to your hand, and response commit after your powerful attack deals damage. Reveal the top card of your deck. Your next attack this turn gets plus X damage, then add the top card of your deck to your momentum. X equals the difficulty of the revealed card. So this was initially a combo with New Song style Scarlet Meteor.
I think you've mentioned that card before.
I've mentioned it many times because it is just a better version of a card that's in my hero. It's a 5 difficulty, 3 check, breaker 2, powerful 4 weapon. You may destroy assets in addition to discarding momentum to pay this attack's powerful ability. So if you've got spare assets, that's just plus 4 damage for each. Also, you can cancel abilities if you destroy your assets. Great, who cares? That just protects your combo. But the big one is destroy one foundation as an enhance. Add one asset or foundation from your discard pile to your stage.
Well, you can loop it.
So you can just destroy all your foundations. Every foundation you destroy picks back up a Caden's Blindfold. Every Caden's Blindfold picks back up New Song style Scarlet Meteor. Every New Song style Scarlet Meteor picks back up Caden's Blindfold.
Yeah, loops on an attack that's a 5/5 seem pretty nasty because they're eventually going to run out of ways to deal with it.
Yeah, it's just a cheap infinite, so they banned New Song style Scarlet Meteor for that. And then they brought out Unwavering Slash. Now, rather than destroying a foundation, it's discard a card, but also you get to draw a card if you have one or more assets. So you just replace the card you discard and it goes infinite again. And you don't even have to destroy your foundations for it.
Yeah, and all what's really changed is, yeah, it's powerful 2 into the powerful 4, but on an infinite combo, that just means you got to do it a few more times.
Yeah, it's a slightly slower infinite combo, but you're no longer limited by your number of foundations, so if anything, this was better.
Yeah, it's going to take longer, but it's more consistent from the looks of it.
Yeah, the Unwavering Slash got banned because it was creating problems with asset design space. We've talked about that in My Hero a lot. I don't know if it's ever actually been banned in Retro, though. I'm not sure.
But I'm assuming there's more.
Yeah, of course there's more. Surely you know about the new one. Dramatic Slash. Oh, look, powerful 2 again. Discard a momentum building asset from your discard pile. And then if you have one or more assets reveal the top card of your deck, you can remove it. If you do, add the top card of your discard pile to the top of your deck.
How many times do you have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on here. Because, I mean, it's limited by your momentum. It's only going to work in a character who can generate momentum very easily. But some of those characters exist.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And, I mean, it fixes checks as well.
Yeah.
Dramatic Slash is the most fair one of these yet, but it's still potentially going to be an infinite combo with Caden's Blindfold. It just needs a slight extra step.
It's hard to call an infinite loop fair. It's just an infinite loop that's harder to do consistently is all it really is.
Well, I mean, what they're saying here is that easy infinites, low effort infinites are the problem. And this is very much an easy, low effort infinite.
Yeah.
The Dramatic Slash version of it is a little less easy. You need the extra key piece to give you the momentum. But even so, Caden's Blindfold is a key piece in a few different impressive combo decks and keeps finding new cards to invigorate those combos. Yep. Most of the time, the combo decks don't win at an abnormal level in a very powerful retro format. With the release of Jetburn, a new powerful combo emerged with Tasty Riff. Oh geez.
Yeah, I was thinking, wait a minute. Yeah, you can build assets because I do it a little bit in my Jiro. With
Tasty Riff can build anything. As long as you get to, they say 6 counters here, you only actually need 5 because Tasty Riff rounds up.
Yeah.
By off-symboling the blindfold. Right, you're not even running the blindfold on symbol.
Yeah, because that's only mattered if you play it.
Yeah, just get it in your discard pile, as they say. Tasty Riff doesn't even have powerful, but it has Deadlock powerful, which is enough.
Yeah, it still has the word powerful there.
Yeah, it has a version of powerful you can't use, but you don't care about using it. And the weird part about that is that Tasty Riff doesn't do a lot of damage. It's a really slow infinite, and you're going to check that too at some point. Anybody who cares about the damage, it's going to be a rough version of the infinite. But as far as they're concerned, it's a little too easy and very achievable in the early game, yeah.
Well, if you do play it in something like the Jiro, you only need to really hit with like
this is the thing.
4
if
of them, and
play
then
it in Jiro, it's different because Jiro stacks counters.
Yeah, it makes sense why to ban it.
Yeah. It's about time Caden's Blindfold got banned. It does way too much in way too many versions of the same infinite.
Well, there's 3 different cards that have all done a similar infinite loop.
Well, 4 if you're now including Tasty Riff.
Yeah.
We plan on continuing to monitor Retro with a close eye for problematic interactions, particularly on overly early kills. We're also looking to continue the trend of moving some player favorite cards off the ban list if we think they have a case for it. That's interesting. They say continue the trend? No, I think they did actually, right before last Retro Nationals, huh? But yeah, I think we could potentially have the big shots back now that Twisting Azure Inferno is gone. I don't think we should, but I think we potentially could. But yeah, these 3 bans make sense. Shokuga Hosen is the least deserving by far, but at the same time, as said, it was a character who was 2-shotting 7-handers on turn 1 with it, and it was the only card that interacted this way with them. They were the only card that interacted this way with it. So it was a question of which was worth keeping, and characters generally mean more to decks.
Yeah, character can be a whole identity of a deck.
Yeah, especially when it's somebody like Zolt, who does such a unique thing of making 3 multiples, but they all deal 1 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a good list. I think they've done well here. I'm just very surprised to see it, because it's a retro ban list. What the hell?
Yeah, I forgot about retro ban list being a thing for a while.
And they've monthly just gone, here's a new ban list for Spotlight. Oh, look, nothing's on it. Here's a new ban list for Spotlight. Oh, look, nothing's on it. And just kept doing that with no reference to any other format. And then all of a sudden we get this.
Yeah, it's quite odd, but it's a welcome change though, you know?
Yeah, I have no issues with what they've done here. I'm just very surprised. However, I will say it would be nicer to have these formats even bolder, because as is, you open a Ban and Errata update, and you see Twisting Azure Inferno, and you go, oh god, my hero deck's changing.
Yeah, it's still a strong card, Twisting Azure Inferno in My Hero, but it's a bit past its prime now.
There's no support to break it. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like them to be a little bit clearer in the visuals, in what format these bands are affecting. But other than that, this is a great step.
Yeah, I enjoy it, and like I've not really played retro other than a few memey things we've done on streams. But I can clearly see why every one of these cards needs to go for a deck building design process.
I mean, you say Mimi things we've done on streams. I would like to remind you, most of what I have done with you on streams is technically legacy in terms of the memes.
Ah,
Retro is it's not a format I play much. It's a fun format, but it's a format I only play at the actual official events for it. Whereas the meme stuff is, oh, haha, I found this old card that's worded in a way that even Jasko wouldn't do. Let's shove it in a deck and see what happens.
but they're fun to do. It's like,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had a deck with a card which just does 15 damage out of nowhere, and another one with a card which says, if this attack deals 5 or more, I'll just build it. And I'll build it as a foundation, but it'll be face up, so I'll still have all the abilities.
I'd be willing to try retro. Obviously, my first character would be probably Sheepman out of characters that are in retro that I can't play in my hero. Just
Build
because
the
I feel I've
Sheepman
got
deck.
to.
I'll throw stuff at you. I've got a Spike that I've been playing in Retro, who admittedly is just a modified starter deck, but he does some very silly things and went 50-50 at Nationals.
You know, if it works, it works. If it's not broken, why fix it?
I mean, it was more they banned my other deck, so I just had to throw something together super quick. But
Fair
he
enough.
loops window shopping like mad.
Window shopping. It's not become super busted in my hero yet, but I can feel it might be a matter of time sort of thing on that.
Well, with the fact that they're bringing back some of the crazy Spike cards, I think window shopping is going to be a lot more of a high profile card than it has been. Because people have been really underrating it as a life and death version of destined for mainstream success.
I've seen it in a few Bakugo lists, but not many of it, and it seems great in him.
Well, no, this is the thing. Cutest plays it in Bakugo and has huge success with it. And yet, Tim Keefe, actual top level player, didn't even put it in there. His Bakugo list looks crap by comparison to Cutest, which is quite funny to me.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on how long you sit with a deck, because you look at what we've changed from that original Tiger list, just seeing how everything works.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
just-
we'll be talking a bit more about Cutest's Bakugo deck soon as well, because the version that won him his Nationals invite apparently wasn't very good. He keeps telling me he has no idea how he did well with it, but hey.
Sounds like my old Magna that managed to win a locals.
Yeah, alright, I'll link that in the description. But for now, I think that's everything for today. Unless you have any.
No, just thanks for having me on. I always enjoy doing these talks about my hero and learning more about formats and things that I don't really know anything about.
Yeah, and it was good having you. But in terms of learning about cards you don't know anything about, I did find some old footage of when you were first introduced to the game that I might have a little tweak with, a little mess around with, and see if I can get a video out of that soon. Look forward to that as well, everyone. Bye.
Bye.